Man, sorry, I have to eat some salad. Hi, I'm Eric Kim. I'm a cooking writer for the New York Times food section. Today we are going to be making my Ritzy Cheddar Chicken. We're also going to make a side salad. This green salad is just the perfect accompaniment to the rich, cheesy chicken cutlet. When you have a bite of the chicken and then a bite of that very crisp, refreshing green salad, it's kind of just like the perfect combination. I think a lot of cooks and people who write about food often dismiss the chicken breast as this dry, white meat, and it often is. But my thing as a recipe developer is, how can I help people cook this thing that they love cooking so much? People love chicken breasts. This recipe represents a lot of simple ways to just make that white meat taste so much better. Let's do this. Okay, some people are really squeamish about handling chicken, and I totally understand, but you just have to, so, get over it. The reason people cook them to shoe leather is that they're really thick, right? And thick and uneven. This is like a thin part, this is a thick part. What happens is people just like fry it like that or cook it like that, and this part overcooks by the time this part cooks. The way to keep it very succulent is to make the surface area as like even as possible, and by slicing through it like this, you kind of only have to cook them for a few minutes in the oven and it'll cook very evenly. So I'm gonna use a meat mallet today because we have it, and I'm gonna use the side that's gonna like really create like lots of nice nooks and crannies, let's call it that. And I'll flip it. You know you're done when it's pretty evenly spread out. That looks really good to me. Okay, let's get this cutting board out of the way. Always wash your hands, raw meat. So, part 2. Sour cream is really important. It has lactic acid, and that tenderizes the meat. I got this idea actually from Kat Craddock. She is one of my friends. She is an editorial director at Sephora magazine. Her idea was, which I think is genius, is adding some egg white. What the egg white does is it provides protein that helps the coating cake on, kinda. The chicken's really just a vehicle for the crackers. Okay, an egg white goes in. Anytime I do a dredge, I always make sure the wet part has some nice Dijon in there.
What is a dredge?
It's whenever you're like coating something. And usually there's flour involved, but with this recipe, there's not. The cheese, even though it's sharp cheddar, and the crackers, they have a little salt, but these flavors are actually quite savory and mild, so you really need salt. You need like a lot of salt. So don't be shy with the salt at each step. We got this nice little mixture. I'm just gonna add the chicken to it now. Stir them together, clean hands. Just want each one to be coated. The longer it sits in here, the more flavor it'll gain, but also the more the lactic acid is gonna be able to tenderize the meat. Okay, I'm gonna grate the cheese. You just need one sleeve of Ritz crackers. All I do is crush them with my hands. They break apart really easily, see? That's why this is perfect. You don't need a food processor. You'll have like pockets of cheese in there. That's gonna be really good. You also wanna season the breadcrumbs. Half a teaspoon of salt is good. I love using garlic powder and onion powder. They're nothing but pure umami. People think that fresh is always better, but it's not true. It adds so much nuance to cooking, and it makes it taste like a lot of time and effort has been put into something. So a tablespoon in here. We're not frying these cutlets, so what I'm doing is adding some of that fat to the coating so that it really browns nicely. You want the chicken to start cooking immediately, and that's how you get it to not stick. But if you start from a cold pan, then it will stick. So, of course, be careful, but I like to put some oil on a towel. This hand is wet. I like to pack it in because the goal is to get as much of this coating on there as possible. That's good. It's gorgeous. The next one. That one's gonna be delicious. Wasn't that pretty easy? Okay, we're going in. While the chicken is baking, I can kind of prep my salad grains. I love making a salad because it really signals that you're starting dinner. I'm gonna show you something no one ever shows you, the really boring part. I actually don't think it's boring at all. This part is essential to a good salad. If you don't have a salad spinner and you like eating salad, what are you waiting for? Once I got a salad spinner, it really changed my life. I love romaine because you can just like cut across like this and they're like perfectly the right size. Romaine is so good. All of your greens go into the salad spinner. I love having parsley in my salads. I'm gonna like maybe coarsely chop a little bit. I like to use that much parsley because I think it's an incredible salad leaf and it makes things really refreshing. If you don't like the taste of parsley, don't do it. The chicken's smelling good, it's looking good. That's perfect. I do want it to cool down a little bit so that you can transfer them later. Just fill it with cold water. Okay, so I'll go in there and just sort of do that and lift it up. This is all looking very clean, so I'm just gonna do it once. So now we're gonna spin it. Just kidding, okay. Oh, wow, it's just gone.
Look at all that water coming out.
Perfectly spun, dried lettuce. I like chilled greens, personally, because I like that crunch. So I'm gonna put this in the fridge while we make our vinaigrette. What I like to do is use the dill in the vinaigrette directly, so it's dispersed and in every bite. I am going to add 2 cloves of garlic to this. This recipe is only a few months old, but I kind of do my garlic differently now. I used to grate it like every single time, but now I got like lazy, so I just smash it and mince it now. I think it's okay to change. We as humans are allowed to change. My mom does this crazy thing, which is kind of cool and maybe a little dangerous. So she takes the back of the knife to like smash it like that, and then you go the other way to finish mincing it properly. But what you end up with is just a fuzzier edged mince. And what I mean by that is garlic that is more broken down than just a sharp mince. Garlic in there, that's gonna be delicious. A tablespoon of rice vinegar. I always like to put it over the garlic. It's about a tablespoon, cool. In my mind, the garlic kind of mellows out in the acid like that. You're just trying to like maximize the flavors that are going on in here. A little fish sauce goes a long way in your dressing. You only need like a half teaspoon. If you're a vegetarian, you could use soy sauce or tamari or whatever. Salt's really important. You want a lot of salt, more than you think. Definitely lots of pepper. I'm just gonna add all of that. Pinch of sugar. The reason restaurant salads taste so good is because there's sugar in it. I add a tablespoon of water. It's nicely emulsified. Needs salt. Again, you need more salt than you think. Okay, it's a gorgeous vinaigrette. One final check. Our lettuce has been chilling. Nice and cold. I'm just gonna add it directly. We're adding a little arugula as well. So I use parsley like a salad leaf and I use arugula like an herb, because arugula is so peppery and so spicy. We are going to plate our dinner. Do I get to eat it now? Yes! There's so much flavor because it's seasoned all the way through. The first thing I got actually was like the onion powder, garlic powder. The cracker is very crispy. I have to eat some salad. Not to brag, but it's a really good salad. I love this cutlet because the crackers and the cheese are like nice and buttery and crispy on the outside, almost like the crispy parts of a pie crust, but right under there, it's still like sour cream. Crispy, sour creamy layer, and then tender chicken. So it's kind of like 3 different experiences in one bite. It's almost like you're having like a butter cracker topped chicken casserole. This is a great summer dinner. It helps you eat all the produce that's around. This is a meal that you can make after a long, hard day, and that's just kind of something we all need.